So it says to solve the equation by writing a linear quadratic system and solving using the intersection feature of a graphing calculator. So first of all, if you don't yet have a graphing calculator in front of you, go get one, because we do need to use the graphing calculators on this one. So if you don't have one, go get one. Most of the work on this one is just going to be the calculator, which is great. But in order to answer this, you need to know how to use the calculator correctly. So get a graphing calculator if you don't have one. Go grab one as well. I don't have one yet. All right. So first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to say 1. Set each side of the equation equal to y. We're going to set each side of the equation equal to y. Basically what that means is we're going to write 2 equations from this one equation. The left side, 3x squared minus 7x plus 4, we'll set that equal to y. And then the right side, 9 minus 2x, we'll set that equal to y as well. And that'll give us a linear quadratic system. So first one is going to be y equals 3x squared minus 7x plus 4. And the second one is going to be y equals 9 minus 2x. So we're just taking each side of those and setting them equal to y. It's basically the opposite of what we had done before. This is like the exact opposite of the word problem, actually. So I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to flip back to that word problem to show you real quick. So with the word problem, we had 2 separate equations, both equal to y, and we ended up setting each of those things equal to each other. On this one, we're starting with something like this, and we're splitting them apart to get 2 equations. So it's literally the exact opposite process of what we had done before. So we could have gone through this and solved for x like we normally did, using algebra and using substitution, or we wouldn't even need to use substitution because it's already set up. But this one, we're using our graphing calculator. So everybody get your calculators ready. Go to the y equals menu. If there's an equation in there, clear it out. And you'll notice there's no graph on here because we're not actually going to graph it on the paper. We're just using our calculator to solve this for us. So type in each of these equations on separate lines. So we're going to get 3x squared minus 7x plus 4. And the second equation will be 9 minus 2x. And then we're going to hit graph. And on mine, yours might look a little bit different, but there certainly seem to be 2 points of intersection here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So I'm going to hit zoom, and I'm going to go to zoom in. And I'm actually going to zoom in up here a little bit because I want to be able to see both points of intersection, and I can't do that. So I'm actually going to go up here again, and let's see, what number is this? That's 8. All right. So what I'm going to end up doing here is, first of all, I can only see one of my points of intersection. And on your calculator, if you want to find a point of intersection, I'll zoom out and I'll get back to the one up here real quick. But if you want to find a point of intersection, make sure you can at least see one of them. And you're going to go back to the calculation menu, kind of like we use when we figure out where a line crosses the x-axis. We're going to go back to that same menu when we're figuring out a point of intersection. So if you hit second, and then the trace button, you'll notice a word that says intersect. That would be a point of intersection. So we're going to option 5, as opposed to what we would normally do, which is 0. Actually, I think we might have used the maximum and minimum before to figure out the vertex of a parabola. So that would be, this menu does a lot of different things. So go to intersect, hit enter, and then it's going to say first curve with a question mark. Now the first curve it's showing the blue one. And what I want to do is I actually want to get as close to the point of intersection as possible because there are 2 points of intersection. So if we're closer to the other one, it might actually calculate the other one first, which I want to get this one first because that's the one I can see. So I'm going to scroll to the right. I'm going to push the right button until I can get to somewhere that's pretty close to the point of intersection, which is right there. That's great. So once I get there, I'm going to hit enter. And then it's going to jump to the line and say second curve. And that would be the red line. And that's actually really close to the point of intersection. So I'm not going to mess around with that at all. I'm not going to move that. I'm just going to hit enter again. And then it'll ask you guess, and then you'll say, yeah, just hit enter after that, and it should give you the point where those two lines cross, or the parabola and the line cross. So one of our points of intersection, and let's go to 2 decimal places. One of our answers is going to be 2.37 and 4.26. And all we had to do was get into our graphing calculator menu and have it solve it for us. Now for the other one, I am going to want to zoom out just so I can see what's going on up here. So if I hit zoom and I go to zoom out, and I'm going to go all the way to the top of the graph because it's up there somewhere. And then I'm going to hit enter. It's going to zoom it out quite a bit. And we can see it's up here somewhere, and figuring out the intersection when it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to differentiate between the parabola and the line at this point. So I'm going to go to where I think that intersection point is, and I'm just going to zoom back in. Right where I see that point of intersection. And there it is. So that's the only point of intersection that I can see right now. And then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to figure out that point of intersection. So we'll go back to second, hit the trace button to go to the calculation menu. Option 5, intersect. First curve, we're on the blue. I think we're on the blue anyway. Yeah, we're on the blue. And that's really close to that point of intersection. So I'm just going to hit enter. And then second curve, that's really close to where it is as well on the line. So I'm going to hit enter again. And then does anybody have that second point to 2 decimal places? Should be a negative x value. Negative 2.36. I think it'll be in between 0 and -1. Yeah, that's what I got as well. Negative 0.7. And even rounded to the nearest 2 decimal places, it's still just negative 0.7. And then the height, the y value would be 10.41. So using the graphing calculator, those are our points of intersection. And had we solved this like we did on the previous page, we could have used the quadratic formula and estimated those 2 values there and gotten the same answer. But now you know how to use your graphing calculator for it. So there we go. Any questions? Cool. So that is it for chapter 2.